YOLO. Welcome back, Divergence, to another day in the Matrix. I know I've been radio silent for a little while, and I want to thank each and every one of you for sticking around. And I'm sending you all much love and high vibrations out to wherever you are in the world right now to start off your week. Since our last video, where we made and spoke about some 666-day connections to since the start of the pandemic, well, we've seen both Bitcoin and altcoins since then take a pullback and a hit on those exact dates of January 5th to the 8th, some dates I shared with you in advance. But before we get this video started this week, I wanted to take some time to give you all and deliver a quick and very important and urgent message about the biggest thing that you should fear in your lives right now, and that is yourself. Because I know you all wonder why I repeat the same thing at the beginning of each and every one of my videos. That I believe that what you believe in your hearts and speak in your minds will eventually become your words and your reality one day. And what you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mindset, and what gets ingrained in your subconscious mindset becomes an unconscious action and an unconscious activity. Now think about that saying, and then ask yourself, why do I repeat this same thing over and over again, day in and day out? Honestly, it's quite simple, actually. Because what you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mindset, and what gets ingrained in your subconscious mindset becomes an unconscious activity. And if you can see it right here in your mind, then you can hold it right here in your hands one day. And let's start right there. How do you see things in your mind? Through predictive and preemptive and consistent programming. So, what you see in your mind are the thoughts that you create on a consistent and repetitive basis, forming a pattern that will eventually be the words that you speak. And those words that you eventually speak, that started from the thoughts that you desired, will eventually and ultimately become what you're able to hold in your hands one day. So the current reality that you face, that you live, whether it's blissful or if it seems grim, all it is the thought process mixed with your desire that's manifesting itself into your physical reality. So again, this is the biggest and only thing you should fear right now, yourself. Because we are in a battle for human consciousness. It's not a battle against left versus right, or black versus white, or vaxxed or non-vaxxed. The only battle we face is the one for human consciousness, a higher consciousness. I personally believe that we have lost all sight as to who we are as human beings. And that is that we are powerful beyond measure. That what we believe in our heart and speak in our mind will eventually become our words and our reality one day. I believe we have lost sight of the very fact that we are manifestation experts and scholars. Remember, if we can see it in our minds, then we can hold it right here in our hands one day. Because we know that what we repeatedly do gets ingrained in our subconscious minds. And what gets ingrained in our subconscious minds becomes an unconscious activity. So here's the message, if you're still here, pioneers. You're a manifestation expert, and you are already rich. You are already wealthy, and you're already powerful. You are our Creator's creation, and you're a creator that's deserving of everything that you manifest. Remember, you're a chosen one, and you do not follow trends. No, no, no. You set them and you create them. So let's repeat it together this time, shall we? What you believe in your hearts and speak in your minds will eventually become your words and your reality one day. And if you can see it in your minds, then you can eventually hold it right here in your hands. So what we just did was visualize ourselves in our minds, how we wanted our physical reality to be. And then we just spellcasted that out loud verbally for the world to hear. And now we are going to continue to act on these things repetitively, day in and day out, consistently, over and over again, until the physical reality catches up to us. It's about tapping that guardian angel on the shoulder and saying, hey, I believe that one day this will be. Now let's make it happen. Because you're the greatest of all time in your own paradigm and physical reality. And that's why I'm here. To tell you guys these things day in and day out. Not for the likes and the followers. I've got 3 followers. You all know this. I'm here because I am the greatest of all time within my own physical paradigm and reality. And I'm winning because I'm being my one true authentic self. And you can win too, just as I am. By just being you and speaking your truth and manifesting your reality. Because the only world is the one within ourselves. So whatever happens to take place over this next year, just accept it and try to remain in high spirits about whatever happens. And that's why I've stated before that lately I've been trying to take a lot of my personal time to devote it to reflecting and looking at all the things that I have to be grateful for. So every day when I write down a few things that I'm grateful for, one of the things that I'm always most grateful for is any and all support that I receive. But I also am thankful for anything bad that comes my way, for it allows me to grow. Only in our pain and heartache is that where we're going to be able to find our will to carry on. And where there's a will, there's always a way. And only in the chaos is it where we'll be able to learn to be still. And only in the fear is that where we are able to find our strength and might. Only in the darkness will we find our light. So fear right now, you guys, in this day and age, it really just needs to go away. All of us just need to relinquish any and all fears. And if you need that fear of yourself to carry you on through this next year, to be your biggest critic, to be your own worst enemy, then I'll accept that. But you need to work on that. I think we all do. Because I'm not just speaking about fear on the world stage right now and everything we're witnessing, but I'm speaking more of a mental and spiritual level type fear. And use this time frame we are in the world and these words as a pivot point to tomorrow. It's the fear and the choices that we make because of the fact that we fear things that keep us in this lack mindset, in this preventative stage where we can no longer move forward towards making progress. And that keeps us searching for answers outside of ourselves when we always know that the answers can be found within. So wake up tomorrow, do what you love, and do it at 100%. Be you because you're so powerful. You're a manifestation expert and scholar. And I definitely want to start this week's video out right there, you guys, before we got all into the minutia and monotony of everything that we go over on the Daily Candle Close News. Definitely want to make sure that you understood that this was dedicated and always meant for you. You know, my works is for you. But we've seen this happen before in the past. For anybody who studies cryptocurrencies, when we get big washouts in the market, a lot of people who were short-term players, they tend to just go away. Thank goodness. And the long-term investors, they tend to become stronger, and the communities tend to become stronger. And I'm definitely grateful for the community we're building in the group chat at the Daily Candle Close News, because those pioneers are showing that they don't follow the hype and the FOMO and the fear, you know, at least not what I could tell. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately over the past few weeks. You know, this community is so incredible, and I'm grateful for everything we've witnessed together. Everything we've seen since November, you know, I can tell that they're the people that are going to be here for the long run. And it's beautiful to see because it's how I've looked at this thing for the whole time that I've been in it, for the long run. You know, if we look at these post bull run blow off tops, 2017, 2013, you know, we saw some major washouts that probably got rid of a major majority of the players in the game at those times too, right in the times when the whales are accumulating. And it's pretty interesting how I think the retail investor tends to follow the herd instead of what the richest people in the game are doing. Although we aren't elites, I believe that we can look at the reality and life through the lenses of elites. And I think that's important that we pay attention to and remember. And when we're perceiving the way that these markets work and who operates these markets, then honestly, I think it's important to pay attention to. When we pay attention to who has the most money, it's not normal people, okay? And it doesn't matter if the price of these assets go up or down to them because they own most of the money in the world. So definitely important to keep an eye on those things and keep them in our mind when we approach these markets. Um, we're seeing Bitcoin become what I believe is a more scarce asset, a more mature asset as time goes on, which is why we don't see these euphoric bull runs just yet in Bitcoin, and why we're seeing a bull run tend to play out a little bit different than previous ones before. Again, we're in our fourth bull run total. So, 13 years of history shows us three prior bull runs that went pretty euphoric. So, you can view that as good or bad, etc. I don't really look at life as good or bad anymore. I just look at life as the I am that I am, and I exist, and everything else around me exists as well. And I believe that's what love is, and love is allowing, and love is allowing everything to be and embracing chaos. And if we attach our emotions to this market, then when they go down, like they've recently done, this is when they test us, and you'll learn a lot about yourself um, during huge market corrections because you attached your emotions to these. So getting into the market and being a student of the market with a investment thesis built behind this, I think is the most important thing and the way to approach these markets. It's always been my journey, and it's something I want to share with you all. I do remember when Bitcoin was around here and the fear in the markets and the emotions were invested in it in the C19 sell-off before a euphoric rally out. Like I remember this entire sentiment here, and then I remember it changing. And we're probably going to see how that works again. We'll just have to continue to see how that plays out. This bull run right here, I said earlier, again, was very easy to navigate. Every time we came up and had a dip, it came back to the 21 exponential moving average before moving back up, and then topped out around 90 to 95 RSI on the weekly time frame. So during that pullback, we got a bull trap that led to an alt season. So very easy to navigate this if you look at the charts and go back in history. And this bull run obviously is going to be much more different, I believe. More interest, more people, more retail investors. So the more chaotic and schizophrenic I do believe we're going to witness this bull run continue to be while we witness it finish. I don't believe we've had a blow off top yet like in the previous three bull runs. So that's something to keep an eye out for. We haven't necessarily seen this be unsustainable neither. The growth has been extraordinary over time and very important to pay attention to, especially since the C19 sell-off. So in my opinion, cryptocurrency has been very sustainable, and it's not a scam like everybody wants to call it. Because anybody who got in a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago, you're still sitting pretty in regards to most stocks and stock market investors. So very important. It's, again, interesting when you have all the liquidity and the ROI in crypto, and people tend to still call it a scam. It just blows my mind. They have no idea whatsoever about investment thesis 101 or whatever. Cryptocurrency, it can be the mark of the beast or whatever, like we talk about on this channel. But there is money to be made to better your families along the way into this transition of a digital economy that they're pushing us into. So pretty interesting things that I want to reiterate. One thing I thought we were going to see was a repeat around these two previous bull runs this year, and when we didn't get that outcome, I actually got personally excited because I get to defer taxes for another year. I get more accumulation period. It allows anybody that got in around here an opportunity to enter long-term capital gains tax, and there's just so many great reasons to have this pullback and sideways, boring, choppy price action for Bitcoin. So anybody that doesn't understand the gratefulness of this opportunity and the process, then they should take note on that. When you're getting into something and you're wanting to become a master of something, Um, when you're starting to become a master of something that you're interested in, that's my view on everything. I want to be a master at everything I do. Um, and we should all want to do something great while we're here on Earth, right? So if this crypto thing is something that is exciting to you and you're trying to get your head wrapped around financial freedom, then you should study wealth preservation and you know, read some books like I don't know, The Greatest Man in Babylon, etc. Rich Dad Poor Dad. And fall in love with the process, not the outcome, you guys, is what I'm saying here. It's those who study and apply their mind and who are able to navigate around this long term perspective of what's happening in all things in life are the ones that are going to be able to benefit the most, no matter what happens, because they have the emotional stability and the conscious awareness to apply this knowledge to reality and how things work in reality, which is chaos. And I know a lot of people don't want to accept that, but a market is pure blown chaos. And the more people that is in a market, the more chaotic it can be. And that's why I bring all this up. Fall in love with the process, you guys, not the outcome. The outcome will happen. That's inevitable. And we know that. We spoke about that earlier. You know, it's how you exist during this process. Are you going to be a non-player character or a user player and control your outcome? You know, um, don't think about the outcome unless you're manifesting, like we spoke about earlier. And you know, if you're somebody who's truly manifesting, then you don't think about the outcome. Period. You know, whatsoever. It's not even an option. Okay. You know, when you're manifesting, you say, I will have $1 million by 2023. You say that, you stop thinking it, you believe it, you own it. You know, you are it. You own your shit. You know, there's no maybe, there's no I think, none of that shit. You know, you don't even think that way. I will be in that relationship by the end of the year. You put a date on that shit, you seal the deal, and you are that. You know, every day you wake up, you're consistent over and over, day in and day out, whatever you're trying to manifest. You ask, so you shall receive. You don't think, okay, every day in regards to what if. There are no what ifs. Okay, you ask, you will get. Period. Now, every day you wake up, you focus on the process, and that is what will allow you to achieve whatever you want to achieve in this matrix. So, getting back to this chart, very important chart, I think. Something I haven't spoken about, but I've kept an eye on in the background. This 34 bi-weekly chart for Bitcoin with the 34 exponential moving average, the only exponential moving average on this chart, going back to previous bull runs, showing very important data. Right here we have the 2013 blow off top, 2017 blow off top, and here our current bull run with no blow off top. Okay, not that I believe. During this bull run, we came back to back test the 34, and then we bounced from wick bottom to wick top 100%, 99%. Jupiter, 99. You know, Bitcoin's highly tied to Jupiter. Boom. During this whole phase, we didn't even touch the red 34 exponential moving average. It just blasted straight up, came back and back tested. Relief rally before a bear market. Here, same story. Not even touching. Blow off top, boom. Touched it. Nice bounce. And then we came back and touched it again with a relief rally 54%. So off a list bounce was very similar, I believe, to this right here when we came back and back tested it and then jumped up again. Just happened a lot slower. Okay, so remember that. And I believe it's a lot slower because we've yet to have a blow off top and a sustainable uptrend rally. We had it seemingly up into a crown top distribution, into a pullback and a Wyckoff reaccumulation period, before a basic double top. So with a higher high. So again, continuation and bullishness right there. Remember that. So when I say double top, don't get bearish right there. So it's just part of the game, I believe. More scarce the asset is, the more investors involved, etc. You know, the wells are only going to accumulate at a responsible time. And I think that's very important to remember. So I believe Bitcoin's at a stage where it's seemingly more mature and it's seemingly seeing more sustainable growth. Absolutely unsustainable, absolutely unsustainable. Starting to chill out some, diminishing returns, etc. playing into factors here. A lot to talk about, but I won't get dragged into all that. You've got things like NFTs and the metaverse and etc. going on right now. Just causing the market and Bitcoin to dance around, I do believe. Anyways, getting back into this relief rally of 54%, we know Bitcoin is the sun. The sun equals 54. Again, very scripted. Going back into history, again, scripted. And then again, before a bear market, when we got our first closure before the 34 EMA, which is what we've yet to get even now. We wicked down to 39K, almost down to that 38 that I've been pretty adamant about, and have been bought up since. Back at 43K right now, 43.7. So again, very important, that 43 and that 38 that we called for tying us into that our new variant. We know that 39K we just wicked down to on the 10th, it does bring us back to our variant that we shall not name on this channel. So again, very important. Boom. So again, very important that we bring up this chart and keep an eye on the 34 exponential moving average on the 2-week time frame. Right now, we've seen Bitcoin has been extended above the 34 bi-weekly for quite some time. Came back, retested, and this 34 exponential moving average is still in an uptrend because I do believe that the price is still forming higher highs. So very bullish to keep an eye on that. So upwards posture, it's very bullish. I think it's still moving up because our price is moving up, and that's, with that being said, I think we're towing that line of that 34 bi-weekly EMA, and it's something we can keep an eye on for the next 2 weeks moving forward. We definitely want to get back up in those 50K range at least, and see this EMA continue to move up. So very important. We go back to, I don't think this is something we should take. It's not hopium or take as a projection. It's just something that I'm sharing with you and something I've noticed that, held pretty significant data going all the way back to 2013, 2014 through 2 previous bull runs. So, and one other thing is this 69% from our previous low all the way back up to our previous high at 69K is 69%. So from our low to our previous high at 69K is 69%. So, that's pretty interesting. Are they playing with us with the numbers? I think by now that these numbers, that this code is what runs this market. And I don't take these things lightly, you guys, and I sure as hell don't expose these things lightly either. None of this is to hear myself talk or a decode for fun. All of these numbers and connections I am sharing with you are because they have highly profound connections. So, all I can ask is please don't take none of it lightly neither. This 69% back to our previous 69K top is because we just came out of the year of Saturn where we saw Bitcoin hit 69K. Saturn gives us 69, and we know the Queen is in her 69th year since her coronation. And, that's very important as we head into a Jubilee year, which will be the 70th year reign of the Queen. And all that 70 is tying us back into is what we've witnessed on the world stage for the last year with that 70. Also, we see Bitcoin sitting at 43K right now. Okay, as well as we just entered the Shemitah year, which is what year the Jubilee falls in this year. So again, all of these connections that I share with you are very, very important. And I don't know of very many people on the face of this earth out here putting in their time to share these things with you, to prepare you for the potential financial turmoil that we'll witness the next few years moving forward. Possibly up until 2025 after this year. And I think that's very important that we remember and keep an eye on these things. Um, but anyways, getting back to the craziness of all of this. But whether these markets are 100% controlled by an algorithm or humans or you know organic synchronicity, this code just follows us on a day-to-day basis, whatever. But once we start paying attention to it, we start seeing the code play out day for day, and it's beautiful to watch it happen. It's beautiful to make these connections, and it's beautiful to get you some bullish, price calls in advance using the code. So something I definitely want to bring up. Also, this Bitcoin logarithmic growth curve chart, where we see Bitcoin on the weekly almost close a weekly below 40K, which would have signaled a bear market for me. We were able to close the weekly above that 236 dev line, a danger zone for me, something I've kept in the background, which this is free on TradingView. You can add it to your chart. Very important. So definitely want you to add that to your chart and keep an eye on that. These indicators always move up; they never move down. So very important. Going back in history, we've seen Bitcoin hit the top of this and have a blow off top 3 times before entering a bear market, which is where we got our 144K December 4th call from. So something I've been keeping an eye on for quite some time. I'd like to get back up towards the middle of this band. Um, we'll have to see what happens. Eventually, if we drag this out into the March or April, we can see another 72K Bitcoin around the end of March. So important to keep an eye on this. Could be forming a inverse head and shoulders pattern right here. Keeping an eye on that. I'll draw that out on a clearer chart probably later in a technical analysis video. This is kind of what that is, but there's not much to talk about except for some important things like this hash ribbon indicator that is yet to give us another capitulation or buy signal. Our last buy signal coming in around August of 2021 and has yet to slow down since. Not even gave us a capitulation signal yet. So we're keeping an eye on that. This indicator has failed once, dating back 14, 15 times in history in 13 years. So until we see this indicator fail again, we won't give it as much weight. But it's a pretty important indicator, I do believe. Also a free indicator that you can add to your chart from TradingView. So some things we're keeping an eye on is this 236 dev line and a weekly close below 40K or a daily close below 37K, which would ultimately bring us our first candle below this 236 that closes. So again, very important that we keep an eye on these two things moving forward. These two things, as well as the bi-weekly chart moving forward with the 34 exponential movement average. So definitely very important. But back to this real quick. This blue line is showing us around 52K, which is where I'd like to see us get back up to confirm our oh man, let me get a cleaner chart. Yeah, there we go. I got it drawn up right here. So this inverse head and shoulders chart pattern, could take us right back up to around 52K before we get a pull back to our neckline and a breakout. That would take us right back up around 58K, 57K, right back above our trading range that we had quite some time ago, back around November, December, when we hit our 69K top. So very important trading range that we were trying to hold support of that we fell through and went into this downtrend ever since. So this inverse head and shoulders chart pattern, very important to keep an eye on. So 52K would show me that that's probably what we're forming right there. Giving us a double bottom right here. Yeah, because pretty bullish continuation, I do believe. As long as we continue to hold those supports we've been talking about as well. time frame that I'm pretty interested in moving forward is Mercury retrograde as well. Um, we tend to see a downtrend heading into Mercury in retrograde with a bullish price action moving in throughout Mercury in retrograde. Um, so again, downtrend into Mercury in retrograde with a pump. Okay, two back-to-back eclipses that brought an energy reset to the market, just like right here, back-to-back eclipses. But this previous Mercury retrograde, we had a downtrend coming from Rosh Hashanah, our pivot point that we utilize on this channel, 9/7, September 7th, downtrend and exuberant rally out. So again, we've got a downtrend entering Mercury in retrograde with what appears to be hopefully a bottom. So hopefully we see another exuberant buyback, buying climax out that takes us back up towards that 52K to form that inverse head and shoulders you see right here. And, hopefully that take us back up to our 60K. Ultimately, hopefully we could see a blow off top and higher highs formed in Bitcoin. Maybe it's just 72K. Maybe we don't reach much higher than that. So it's important. We'll just have to see how ritualistic this Mercury in retrograde period plays out. We've seen it go back in history to be a very bullish time period for crypto. Seems to do very well. I've got a decode I'm going to come out with on this. As a matter of fact, probably here later tonight. Definitely wanted to bring this up to your attention first. We had a rejection from this firmament, and we've rode the side of it in this downtrend as well. It's pretty much in play, going all the way back till boom, I don't know what that is. Going all the way back to June and July lows. So again, pretty mapped out firmament. We'll go back, read Genesis, you'll see the importance of this, the arc, the firmament. So Mercury in retrograde could bring us out of this, possibly a back test of this firmament as we break out, just like this previous one we broke out of with a back test. So we could be setting a third firmament, which would be very bullish to see. That would carry us on into April, May, sell in May, walk away with a June, July crash. Not going to get too ahead of myself, but it'd be pretty insane to see Bitcoin go up to 60, get rejected, and do exactly what it did back here, return back to lows, and then hold structure. That would be crazy. It'd be showing us a third firmament. We got that possibility, and we're just repeating the same fucking thing over and over. Scripted, ritualistic, It'll just be 3 back-to-back firmaments, and I think that's very bullish. 2 Mercury retrograde periods coming up within 3 months apart, basically. And this is just a theory that I'm sharing and theoretical, but if we move bullish and get rejected at 60 and then come down and the alts recover, that means we're going to have 3 back-to-back firmaments, you guys. I do believe. And that's pretty important, and that will elongate our bull run a little bit. So I'm not quite sure how much. Again, that's always been an extended cycle has never been out of the picture. Just how long is an extended? That's always been the most important question. Pretty wild to see if this plays out coming up on the 14th of January. So this Mercury retrograde period being a very important time frame to keep an eye on. We know January 14th is that 114 date, and we'll talk about that in the decode being a very powerful number. We know that ties us back into deoxyribonucleic acid, our Jacob's ladder, and our DNA, our vesica Pisces. So, anyone who's been following my work, they know these things. I don't know what this is. But anyways, with all that being said, you guys, probably gonna head out of this one. Thank y'all for being patient through my radio silent time frame that I had there for a few days. with all that being said, become a divergent and a glitch in the matrix, you guys. We'll be back out to do some more technical analysis. I know there wasn't a lot in this one. There's not a lot to talk about until we see an automatic reversal form out of Bitcoin, which is something I'm almost bullish as to say we're seeing take place now. We talked about the 10th and 11th being a time period where I thought we could transition out of this downtrend in one of my previous videos, and it could be very bullish to see that hopefully taking place as we as we continue to see Bitcoin on the daily time frame start to really work its way back up. The 10th coming with that low to 39K, that's tying us straight back into our best friend right here. But very bullish to see this starting to get bought right back up. Next 2 days are going to be very important moving forward. So with all that being said, take care. God bless. We'll be back out to do another decode and some technical analysis later around this Mercury retrograde time period. That's going to allow me to be able to explain a lot more of what I went over in this video moving forward. So take care. God bless. We'll see you in a little bit.